I'm Chase Stroud. I'm from Weatherford, Texas. Grew up there originally and now live in Brenham, Texas, and I shoot for the Applied Ballistics Extreme Long Range team. So I started shooting long range actually when I was a little kid, probably when I was 6 or 7 years old. If you're not all there, you're gonna miss. I mean, that's just all there is to it. To hit a 1 minute target at 2 miles is no joke. The elation you get from seeing an impact up here on a plate that far away, and there's not a whole lot better feeling in the world than that. So I started shooting long range actually when I was a little kid, probably when I was 6 or 7 years old. So we had obviously our BB guns and whatnot, our 22s, and my brother and I have better than exceptional eyesight, and I was able to watch my BB fly through the air when I was a little kid, and I was shooting my Red Ryder out past 75 yards doing Kentucky windage. And then, you know, when I started hunting and whatnot and killing deer around 5 or 6 years old, I immediately took an interest in shooting longer distances with my 22, again, walking in. And then by the time I was a junior in high school, I built my first custom rifle. And remember watching a documentary on snipers and seeing them adjust their scopes. I wanted to learn how to do that and didn't know how to necessarily, and I taught myself the math. And I started shooting ELR right out of the gate, so I started shooting over a mile within a year of building my gun. We started seeing how far we could stretch my rifle out. My dad would go out with me and spot for me, and you know, we were shooting 3,000 yards, not having a clue how to accurately get a first round prediction, but we would, you know, walk targets in, and then all of a sudden the PRS comes up, start shooting PRS, had immediate success, shot a lot of tournaments, won quite a few, and a lot of top fives, and it was a lot of fun, and I really got into it, become a better hunter, you know, extend out my distances I could hunt and be effective. And then it just got to the point where we could see how far down the rabbit hole we could go, and you know, now we're out shooting past 6,000 yards, and we haven't hit past 6,000, but we've got within 5 feet of the target, and you know, we're kind of limited on our mechanical adjustments at this point. Bullet technology is getting a lot better, and as you can see, this weapon system right here is as good as you can purchase, and we're gonna max this thing out in a couple of days. So we're here, it's the fall shut up and shoot match that Travis Walla put on. We finished our course of fire for the day, gone out to 2,400 yards from a mile. Got a little time left over. We're gonna set up this Applied Ballistics Weapons Division M30TS, and we are gonna shoot at 4,900 yards. We've taken the new projectile that Brian designed, and we've shot it successfully past 2 miles. And even predictably over 6,000, but I was by myself, so now we're gonna shoot this thing at 4,900 today, and this rifle's shooting extremely well. We've got a 30-inch barrel on this rifle. We're shooting a 400 plus grain bullet around 2,850 feet per second. And to get our elevation out there, we need 114.7 mils in our current condition. So we have the Charlie Tarak and with the TACOM HQ Delta unit, and we should be looking at about 12.7 seconds on the time of flight. Brian, do you think you have any predictions on how the bullet's going to behave out there?
We've shot it at this distance in the springtime, right? At 4,100.
That's right. You shot 4,100.
Yeah, it was pretty predictable at 4,100. I mean, we were all around the target. We didn't lose any shots. Everything was pretty consistent, but that's a tiny target out there at that distance.
Yes, it is.
But as long as we're putting rounds around it,
I think that speaks for it.
Yeah, everything seemed to be predictable then, and I fully expect the group to be centered on the target at this distance here too.
Okay, last one going out. That's it. Well, just shot 10 shots at 4,900, and that monstrous Swarovski spotting scope, we think we saw something on the target. There's no way to tell. So we're shooting in like a almost a no wind, if not a 1 mile an hour wind right now. And it's just holding consistent. We're about out of daylight. So now we'll drive down there and see what we did. When I shoot ELR, I have a very busy life. You know, I have to work in the oil field half of the year, and I'm gone away from my wife and my son, and it makes it very difficult to mitigate time. And it's one of those few moments where you have to be perfectly clear on your mindset, and you have to be all there or not at all. And if you're not all there, there's so many factors you have to be able to pick up on, you know, between wind and whatnot, and just all the inputs you have to make for a 2+ mile shot. It's kind of awesome because you have to go to a higher level, in my opinion, mentally. I'm huge on mental mindset. Just that is so important and underrated. I can't express that enough. And if you're not all there, you're gonna miss. I mean, that's just all there is to it. To hit a 1 minute target at 2 miles is no joke, and it's the elation you get from seeing an impact appear on a plate that far away, to fail so much and then make it finally come together consistently. And there's not a whole lot of better feeling in the world than that. I mean, it genuinely is. It's special to me.
Awesome, man. That is just that's it.
It's up there, you know, I hate to say this, but like, you know, you've got your family, and ELR shooting is right behind family with what I love most in the world. I mean, really, there's nothing else for fun I would do on the planet. Like, if I was broke, which I was in the beginning of my shooting career, guess what? That's what I did. I mean, that's all that mattered to me was, you know, going out there and know that no one pushed me into this. I did it on my own because I wanted it. And man, just to go out there and see a flasher go off, it's, you know, you either know or you don't. There's a ton of science in it, but at the same time, you know, it's art. It really is art. And you can't just take a wind reading and shoot. It doesn't work like that. You truly have to analyze everything, and there's some intangibles that I can't really teach, so to say. I can show you, but I can't teach it to you. And it's a learned art, but it's the best feeling in the world. We're shooting a Berger 407 grain solid 375 enabler with a 507 G7 DC. This bullet is as well of a design projectile that I've ever shot, and its predictability is unbelievable. There's kind of a general known saying that a mile is the old 1,000 yards, and now 2 miles is the old mile. You know, 2 miles is nothing that special anymore in the, you know, in our circle or whatever, but our equipment that we have now is just, this is the tip of the spear. And this weapon system right here is the Applied Ballistics M30TS, made by the AV Weapons Division. And it is chambered in 375 enabler, and we're shooting a Berger 407 grain solid with a 507 G7 BC. And this bullet is as well of a design projectile that I've ever shot personally, and I've shot this bullet over 6,200 yards in this rifle as it sits, and its predictability is unbelievable. We shot a sub-minute of angle group at 3,562 yards that had a 7-inch water line and was 30 inches wide, 3 consecutive shots. I mean, that's just unheard of. You know, we have shot other turn bullets in the past with great success. They were just missing a few key components that we wanted, and Brian designed this projectile here. And I tell you what, it's on another level. Like, it just kind of makes you chuckle with how accurate the whole thing is. And here's the cartridge right here. It shoots off of a Shy-Tac bolt face, slightly larger web than a Shy-Tac. Its cartridge is shorter, but the overall length of the cartridge is about the same. They mag feed out of the Cadex chassis perfectly, and to have the best bullet, in my opinion, designed with a super efficient cartridge, and you've got gunsmithing that can produce guns that are just on another level of accurate. You know, these big ELR rifles typically shoot, you know, half to 3/4 minute, and this gun shoots, no kidding, bench rest accurate. You know, shot countless 5-shot groups that are, you know, in the teens on extreme spread center to center. You know, and then you can shoot consistent 3-4 inch groups at 1,000 yards with a big gun like this, and then you shoot sub-minute group at 2 miles. I mean, that's what it takes to get this predictable first-round accuracy. And as you see here, we've got the TACOM HQ Charlie Terac here. We've got 200 mils, not MOA, but mils in this one. And then we've got the Delta unit they just came out with that allows you to peek to the side of your suppressor and not have to look through your barrel, hit extended distances like that. When we can take this thing out, and we've hit, I don't know, I think we've hit 8 cold bores at 2+ miles this year with this rifle as it sits. That speaks volumes. And, you know, every system that you get from AB like this is capable of doing that. This just happens to be mine. You know, the Night Force optics with the Trimmer 3 reticle that allows a lot of elevation, roughly, you know, 55 mils between dialing and holding, and then from there I can put on my Charlie, and typically I keep that thing at 60 mils. So it picks up kind of where my scope leaves off. That's how I determine where I'm going to set my Charlie up at. And then, you know, you can go on out from there. So typically without the Delta unit, I'm going to, you know, most of my shooting's about 4,400 yards per in. And then with the Delta unit on, we can go on kind of just playing. You know, it's unrealistic, but, you know, we can go out further.
Hey, check it.
So the light at the end of my tunnel is I do have a long-range shooting school, and I would prefer to get that going full-time and be able to be at home every day with my family doing that. But in terms of the professional side, there's a few distances I want to check off that are unrealistically far. But at that point, I'm going to stop playing the ultra long range, you know, 3 mile plus game. And what I think really matters is getting consistency at 2,000 yards. That's what's going to translate into the field for our guys downrange. Like, I'm nobody. Like, I'm just a guy that likes to shoot long, and I took my passion as far as I could take it. And if I can translate that into helping our guys downrange and being more effective at their, you know, standoff distances and get them efficient at 2,000 versus 1,000, that's what matters, is what's real world that you can apply day in and day out and get your hit percentages up. 2 miles is cool, but man, that's unrealistic in the real world. It really is. But by going out and shooting those extreme distances, when you come into 2,000 yards, it just makes it that much easier. It's no different than shooting at a mile and then coming in at 1,000 yards, and you know, you're mad if you hit 3 inches left of center. And it makes you focus on small things that much more, because every error is amplified by magnitudes at the longer distances. And you know, putting our heads together at the AB lab and training division, that's what's going to matter, is when we get AB training division with Chris and we're able to just make our guys more efficient. That's the light at the end of the tunnel right there, is helping our guys downrange.
put the place up. Yeah, we know what